Hi, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Norman Van Aken here. The person I'm speaking about today, I would say, is almost inarguably the most famous chef that ever came to his fame in America. He was not born in America. I'll let you ponder that one for about a half a second. I remember my grandmother was still alive, and she loved watching Hollywood Squares. Nana saved my life in so many ways. And she had her own bedroom in the house at the end of time that she spent with us the last 20 years. And I could hear her laughing and enjoying herself watching Hollywood Squares. And then I realized when I went in there one day, there was a chef as part of the contestants. And that chef's name was Wolfgang Puck. Pretty sure outside of doing a demonstration on television, that was the first time I ever saw a chef on TV. That's how things changed during that era. Chefs were becoming much more part of the public consciousness. I can't think of a person who deserved it more and came to it more naturally than Wolfgang Puck. The book in front of me today, I usually say this is a treasure book I'm speaking about. This is not just a treasure book. It's titled Wolfgang Puck Makes It Easy, Delicious Recipes for Your Home Kitchen. It's a treasure person. Wolfgang is a treasure person. We had the same editor, Jason Epstein, and Jason was feared at Random House, if you can imagine being feared by something so historic as that. But Jason, he had such immense power. But Jason secretly was a sweet guy, at least when it came to us, the people who cooked. Because I know early in his life, he was a short order cook. I think it was like some summer up in the woods in New York or something like that, but he loved food. He was not only my editor and Wolfgang's editor, he was Alice Waters' editor, at least that's the way I understand it. And I know for sure he was Daniel Boulud's editor because we were writing our books and turning them at the same time, Danielle and I. I think it was Julia Reed who was interviewed by, no, she was interviewing Jason, and she got on the topic of how he had published various chefs. And she reached a point in the interview where she asked him a question and he didn't have the answer at the tip of his tongue. And she said, Norman Van Aken in Miami? And Jason answered, no, that's not who I'm trying to think of. But, oh, Norman? Norman is a genius. He is a genius. But he just couldn't write cookbooks that weren't for chefs. and I understand where he was right in many ways. I was at the point that we came together, I was still trying to prove myself to myself as far as writing things that were as full on and full developed as everything I wanted to do in the restaurant. Wolfgang, he didn't do it that way. I can't think of a book that Wolfgang did that you would say, oh, well, those are for chefs. You can't make those things at home. Even the very title of this book is Wolfgang Puck Makes It Easy. Wolfgang, he really understands people. He's got the biggest heart. He signed this book in 2004 for me and Janet. Happy Holidays, Wolfgang Puck. He has a big scrawl like another person I know and love that's a cookbook author as well, whose name is Dean Fearing. And why does Dean come up right now? Well, because a little earlier today, I went like this through the book because there's almost invariably something in the book that is a timepiece. And here it is. I'll let you take a quick snapshot if you like. Not you, camera lady, but the folks at home. And so this was a dinner not in 2004 when Wolfgang signed this, but in 2018 that Wolfgang and Dean and Robert Del Grande and I did, and it was great fun, as it always is with Wolfgang. Wolfgang and I not only shared Jason, we also shared a love, more an adoration of Maida Heater, Maidaheattr. She basically was like his godmother. I mean, Wolfgang would send her smoked salmon and caviar in the holidays. I mean, he loved her, and I came to love her. She was the one who, come to think of it, she was the one who introduced Jason to me, and that's how it worked out that I was able to become published by Jason. And the book that we did, the one that was too advanced for home cooks, according to Jason, I get it. But I did get the hang of writing books for home cooks. It took me a little bit longer than it did Wolfgang, but I did. And I think the one that I wrote with our son Justin is the best example of it. That one's called My Key West Kitchen, which should have been called Our Key West Kitchen because it was really a family affair. Wolfgang, I'll leave you with this. He wrote a beautiful, this is my memoir, No Experience Necessary. Check it out if you have a chance. The Culinary Odyssey of Chef Norman Van Aken is the subtitle. And Wolfgang wrote, Norman Van Aken was a true pioneer of the American food movement in the 1980s when chefs began to combine regional inspirations with modern cooking techniques. One of the best things about dining experiences with Norman is his warm, kind-hearted, good-humored personality. It comes through in this book just as it does in his cooking. Wolfgang, you are a prince among men. I don't know when we'll see each other again, but I hope it's soon. All right, my friends. Um, any of Wolfgang's books, go out and get them. He really does give you great home tips and advice all along the way. Man is a genius. And he's also sweet. I mean it. All right. Take care, everyone. I'll talk to you again soon. Have a great night. Adios.